You. Can you hear me? Perfect. Let me see if I can drive this. I'm glad to be here. I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but I wanted to talk to you today about a topic that personally and for everybody in the company, it's really a passion point, innovation. It's a word that probably we mention 20 times in every meeting we have, every person. So it's something that we put a lot of focus, a lot of thoughts, and I would like to share with you a couple of things around that. But before I start talking about innovation, I would like to talk to you a little bit about the company. So for those that have seen Avocados from Mexico presentations before, this might be familiar, right? But there are two things that we always want to share with people so they get the right context within our company. One is that we are not from Mexico, and two is that we don't sell avocados. So I know it's a little confusing, but that's the truth. Avocados from Mexico, it's a marketing company that was founded in 2013. So it's a joint venture between the growers in Mexico, avocado growers in Mexico, and avocado importers in the United States. So we are the result of that partnership that they have. So really, what we have is, what we do is marketing to promote the consumption of the avocados. So we don't sell the avocados, we only drive the demand. And that is our dual purpose. We, in one side, we wanna build equity in one brand. We really wanna, avocados are expensive, right? So when you go with retailers, they are always trying to go to the cheaper company, right? So what we want is make sure that we can go or give the ability to those importers to say, hey, Walmart, hey, Kroger, your consumers prefer avocados from Mexico, so you should take those, right? So that is one of our objectives. The second one is more with the consumer, right? Driving demand. We want to incorporate new consumers into the category, and for that we have campaigns like health and wellness. We are telling consumers, what are the benefits of eating avocados, the good fats, the low cholesterol, and all those benefits. We have also a very interesting and a campaign that I really like, the education campaign. We teach consumers how to select an avocado, how to ripe an avocado, how to preserve an avocado, because for some of us, that might be kind of natural, right? But that's not the case for every person in America. So that is the dual purpose that we have as a company, and I think so far we have got good results. In the last 7 years, we have doubled the volume of product coming from Mexico. So we went from 1.2 billion pounds to 2.4 billion pounds. That is an incredible growth, because just for your reference, the first 1.2 billion pounds, it took us probably 15 years or more, right? So we're increasing rapidly, and what we are seeing is there is a lot of passion, there is a lot of love for avocados in the United States. So what we need is really more product, so we can increase that number. The second one is in terms of brand equity. We have got some good news on that one as well, because we have triplicated the brand preference from 20% to 60% in the same period of time. So I think overall, we can say that we are making progress in the objectives that we're setting out for the company. But when I'm trying to identify what is the secret ingredient for that success, it's hard for me to find one, I will mention innovation is one, but really what I wanted is just to show you, it's really all the decisions that we are making in this journey. All the different campaigns that we are putting out there in the market are really the ones that are driving, those two metrics that we constantly look at. But there are two things that we have, embedded in our DNA as a company. One is we want to do disruptive marketing. In every single campaign that we have, we always wanted to have something that is different, that is new. I was talking to some of you before. We always are trying to learn new platforms, new vendors, but it's not just going and trying the first one that we find. We do our due diligence, and I think one of the big benefits that we have as a company is that we can take risk. Again, we are not selling the avocados. We are just trying to promoting. So we have that ability to try new things and experiment with new platforms, with new partnerships and all that. So I think that is a big advantage that we have as a company. The second one is we're not forgetting that we are a produce brand, but we are in every campaign that we do, we're trying to break that mold. We are really playing as a CPG brand, and it's something that we really enjoyed. I think most of people working for Avocados from Mexico, we have a CPG background, so we play under those rules, and we are not limited. If you think about the avocados, well, we cannot really control packaging, Avocado it comes packaged. I mean, it is what it is. When it comes to innovation, I mean, I was looking, and I'm passionate about Jovanny's brand, always looking how they are reinventing themselves and having line extensions and all that. We cannot do that. It's just one product. So how can we innovate just having one humble and little product? And that is what we do every day. We are trying to find different ways to present that to the consumers. This is our biggest afraid. We don't want to become irrelevant because we want to be present in consumers' mindsets. We want to be relevant for also retailers that are buying avocados for their consumers, but also on the food service side. We want to be, one of the or the most important brand of avocados for any restaurant out there. So this is one of the things that we always remind ourselves. And as Alisa mentioned, we had this recognition last year to be named the most innovative company. We're very humble and very proud to receive this recognition. We believe that this is just the result of many, many years of what we have been doing and what we have been trying over those years. This is the reflection that innovation has been and will continue being at our core. But now that we got this, we were kind of asking ourselves, okay, now what? What is next? Because we were looking for this type of things for years, and now that we got it, what do we do? So the first thing that we are doing is really stepping back. So we are checking again, what are the guidelines? What are the principles that move us as a company? And this is an internal slide that we have for employees, but it really represents how we are always anchored into the strategy. How important for us is execution, measurement, but also the human component. How the importance that we give, the employees and the people that participate in all these programs, including all our agencies. With that, I would like to focus in one of those for the next few slides, which is my favorite, performance. How can we do it better and better? So we got the innovation, but now we are taking this to the next level. We need to make sure that the innovation is with a purpose, every single one that we have. I mentioned before, we can take risks, but now we want to make sure that that risk is controlled, is efficient, and is the best one that we can take. And I'm going to share with you a couple of examples how we are trying to measure that or control that risk. One of the new implementations that we are having within the company is introducing a measurement framework. And this is just a little example. I'm sure you might have something similar within your companies, but what we are doing is really to have this as a reminder, what is the overall objective of the program that we are producing? Because when we are innovating, it's easy to get lost. You get passionate about a new technology or a new partner, and sometimes you forget about the initial reason why you got to that idea. So this measurement framework is really just reminding us three things. One is on the media goals, what do we want to share out there? How we are going to bring consumers into our landing pages or enjoy whatever experience we have new. The second is, once we have those consumers, what do we want them to do? What is the behavior that we want to see with them? And the last one, probably the most important, is that under the strategy? What is the expected outcome that we have for that specific program? This is just a general example of the Super Bowl campaign that we are doing. And you can see we are putting specific KPIs and targets that we have for every campaign. You can see one of the most impressive that we have is really the social impressions that we are looking every year with the Super Bowl. 4 billion impressions is not a little, it's a lot. And we don't have a lot of money, you know? So we need to be very efficient with what we do. Those impressions, I think not even half of them are paid. So we need to be very smart in the way that we put things out there so they got viral. With that in mind, we can create very robust campaigns. And this is, again, the example of the Super Bowl, how we can get a 360-degree campaign, you know, where the TV spot is just the excuse. You know, we don't see the Super Bowl, you know, we are not a Super Bowl ad brand. The Super Bowl ad is just the excuse to have a very big component on the digital side, but also at the retail level. So we have a 360 program campaign. And I would like to share with you just one example of something new or different that we did, at least for ourselves, on this Super Bowl campaign. We wanted for a long time to have a better use of TikTok. That is not probably the platform that we use the most, but we wanted to give a try. And we know that for using TikTok, we cannot use the regular assets that we have or we put on TV. So we wanted to have something different in there. So at the same time, we were laying over a user-generated content. We wanted to bring consumers and help us to produce assets and content that consumers can enjoy. So we created a program that we wanted an LP, so we gave away a bunch of these discs with specific music for consumers, but we wanted for them to participate to win this, they had to provide something, you know, to make a video that was interesting for others. And the third layer on this one was the jingle. We know that the jingle is one of the, you know, the biggest assets that we have as a brand. I mean, in every time that I'm in the airport or any of us, I mean, even people there are singing the jingle for us. The time that people, oh, you're working for Avocados from Mexico, and they sing the jingle, you know? So we wanted to leverage those three things, and again, trying to connect an opportunity and a desire that we wanted to innovate with something that could help us to increase the brand awareness. And we got things like this.
You know, people always ask me, hey, what's your favorite food? And that's a really good question, so let me break it down for you. I eat avocados for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm a sushi maniac and I'm a guacamole killer. Watch me throw them right in my smoothie bowl, spread them right on my sourdough, get all my cheese from Italy and my avocados from Mexico. Get my avocados from Mexico. Get my avocados from Mexico.
So, and the best thing on that is that we put almost $0 on those type of assets, and you know they went viral. You know, all these influencers are really helping us to increase the recall of the brand. And by the way, we are seeing news, you know, like this, and we feel very proud, you know, to be, you know, next shoulder to shoulder with big brands like Pepsi or others, you know, because our budgets are not even close, you know. So we put a lot of effort to make viral things. Another element that I wanted to share with you, it's brand formance. I'm sure that for most of you, that's not a new word, but this is something that we have been evaluating and discussing internally for the past, I will say, a year or so. How can we do the brand formance in a way that we can measure? Internally, we are convinced that something that cannot be measured cannot be improved. So we wanted just to make sure that with the brand formance, we are doing it right. We explore even, you know, make attribution from our campaigns in our ongoing tracker and things like that. It was getting very complicated. So we ended up doing it by pre-testing every campaign that we are putting out there. We launch many campaigns every year. But we ended up doing this, and sorry, the headline is off, but we're working with Sappi and using their methodology. And really what we are doing here is pre-testing the campaigns. We're selecting a few assets before we are launching every campaign. And we are getting a bunch of feedback in terms of what consumers think about the ads. But there are two main KPIs that we are using as a metric for launching or not launching a campaign, which is behavior change and brand fit. I mentioned to you, there's a dual purpose that we have with the brand equity, and the behavior change is really the purchase intention behavior change. So making sure that we are above the norm on those two metrics, it's really the way that we say, okay, we're good to go. We can launch this campaign. And that is something that we are now measuring on every campaign, and we are setting up our own benchmark. So, because we are always trying to make things harder and harder for us. So, and the last one is media optimization. This is something, I mean, this is my daily life, you know. With the media optimization, I'm gonna use another campaign that we had. This was the Cinco de Mayo campaign. And as in any other campaign, we are establishing the goals at the beginning, you know. For this campaign, we wanted to have a lot of impressions. We wanted to bring traffic to our website and create engagement with the media, because that was connecting with the offline TV spot that we had it. So for the online part, we launched this, what we call the House of Goodness, you know. This was also to let people know all the different things that we are doing as a brand. Lisa mentioned, we rebranded, we actually changed our logo, if you didn't notice. We removed the avocado icon from it. So, and we have now a new avocado color. That's why you see, you know, this yellow gradient to green in every single ad that we have. So, with the House of Goodness, we had different rooms, and people can come here and see the Cinco TV spot that we were airing, and they were able to download recipes and many other things. But with this one, the campaign wasn't easy to execute, you know. We had issues with many platforms, and I'm sure some of you might experience this in the past. So with Pinterest, with Facebook, we were seeing higher cost per click. So we wanted people really to enjoy that platform that we developed. So what we are doing here is really monitoring. And I think one of the big benefits that we have as a small company, I mean, we are not more than 40 employees, is that we can pivot really quick. We can change things very easily. So one of the things is with our agencies, and we need to partner and work very close with them so they can give us visibility on what is happening on the media out there. So we were able to do dollar reallocation from platforms that were working better versus the others, but not losing the context of reach. We wanted the people to see the campaign. So changing dollars from one platform to the other was one of the tactics that we use. Creative enhancement. This is something that we are all the time checking and making sure that consumers are reacting to what we're posting there. We actually have the rule that before launching a campaign, we also have backups. We have other assets that we can replace quickly so we can start improving the metrics that we are reporting or measuring. With the best performers, well, we put more money on those. Not at the point that damage them, you know, because if you put too much, sometimes that KPI that was looking really good start looking bad. And the last one, and I could have a whole a speech about the audience optimization. Well, this is something that we are working very close. For every single campaign now, we are targeting first-party data that we are capturing, but also third-party data. And we are constantly comparing, you know, what is the performance of one versus the other. And we also make budget reallocations between those. After doing this in a very quick timing, because just think about Cinco de Mayo. We have just a little time to react. This is a campaign that we launched probably 2 to 3 weeks before Cinco de Mayo, because before is not relevant, and after Cinco de Mayo, I mean, we're dead, right? So we have only 2 to 3 weeks to achieve our goals, so we need to move fast. So with this campaign that we had last Cinco de Mayo, we got 17% more impressions than we were planning. And again, the benchmarks that we are using here are not the industry benchmarks, are AFM benchmarks that are usually even more lower than the industry. So we are always trying to be better ourselves. Clicks, we got 50% more traffic that we were expecting on the website, and engagement was amazing. You know, people interacting with the filter that we had in the media was something that simply we didn't expect. So it was really good. So with all this, I just want to close with a a few KPIs. So, I'm sorry, takeaways. One is KPIs are unique as your business. You know, we change the KPIs for every program. So I'm sure you have this in your list. But what is very important for us is we need to have the objectives very clear beforehand, not after the idea. You know, because we are always tempted to have the idea and later make it work. You know, in our case, we are trying to have a process for that. Share accountability produces bigger results. And this is what I mentioned with the media agencies, having a close relationship and being in contact with them every single day, that helps us a lot to improve our results. Hyper-focus on performance to move the needle. We wanted all the time to measure everything that we do out there, and we compare that versus the major goals, which in our case is, you know, unaided brand awareness mainly. And the last one, be obsessed about your metrics. This is something that, you know, my team, I think they hate me because I'm always on this. Check your metrics. How are we doing? You know, it's sometimes it's painful, you know, when things are not going good, but when you do it, you have more chances to do it right. Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome. Do we have any questions for Jovanny?
Sorry, I have to ask. Are there any plans to do veggies from Mexico? And if you do, can I be a part of it?
No, not really. I mean, as I mentioned, you know, we cannot really play outside our basket right now. You know, the company was founded, and actually we are overseen by the USDA. So they control basically what we do. We have to get approval from them for every single asset we do. I mean, if we print our brand name in a pen, we need to have approval for that. So that's the not so fun part that we have. But because the money is coming from the growers in Mexico, you know, for every pound that is crossing the border, we are getting some cents. It's only dedicated for promoting fresh avocado, not even the packaged guacamole that you can find on stores.
Well, and I would love to pass it around some more, but again, I'm just as I cut off the ladies, I have to cut off you, Jovanny. But he'll be walking around and ask any questions. But that was awesome, Jovanny, and now I really want guacamole. So thank you very much.
Thank you.